Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Raw review. As always, we thank everyone for interacting and participating with TRWC on the page. I'm Weebs, and I'm here with the Cleveland Brawler to bring you our thoughts on the latest Monday Night Raw.
What's up, guys? Cleveland Brawler here. Before we go any further, I would definitely like to let everybody else out there know that TRWC would like to send the condolences to the family of Joni Lauer and Prince Rogers Nelson, also known as China, and Prince. They were two icons in not only the professional wrestling business, but also the music business, and they will be truly, truly missed.
Yeah, everyone will be feeling their impact today, so we just wanted to mention them on the podcast before we got started.
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll try to move on and discuss this Raw review for you.
Be positive.
Yeah, well, it's the power of positivity.
Yes.
Yeah. So the opening segment of Raw, it was the Ambrose Asylum. So he's continuing on. Um,
Yes.
so what did we think of this week's Ambrose Asylum?
Well, I think that for the first Ambrose Asylum, it was pretty darn good. We got two really good matches out of it. Ultimately, uh, Shane McMahon comes down and he's, of course, what a great first guest to have on the show. The guy who gave him the show pretty much,
Yeah.
instead of Jericho, pretty much nixed uh, the highlight reel. So I don't know if we'll see that anymore. I'm sure it'll make a comeback. Um, but he comes down, he's talking up himself, and of course we have the interruptions of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, and it leads to the two payback matches. And all these guys are really pretty good on the mic. Sami Zayn's probably like the least
Yeah.
good on the mic, if that makes sense. Not to say that he's bad, but if you compare him to Jericho, Owens, and Ambrose, and even Shane, he's just not full. He's not just to their level. But it was still a really good, still a really good segment. As
Yeah.
usual to open Raw.
Yeah. And do you think that the Ambrose Asylum, if it continues, do you think it'll be anywhere like the highlight reel or I don't know, Miz TV or other similar um, type things that have happened in the past.
I think it very well could be with the sole factor being that Ambrose is just so over with the crowd. The crowd loves him. Every time he comes out, he gets a huge pop, and he uh he never. I really don't ever see people booing him. Like, I mean, I know there's not everybody out there likes him, and I know that just because doing posts on the page and saying things, but I really don't hear a whole lot of boos when Dean Ambrose comes out to
Yeah,
fight.
the majority of the arenas seem to respond really well to him. And one thing that stood out was the joke that he opened with, where he said about the Thames, and he said I saw a monster in the Thames earlier,
Hmm.
and he said I didn't know that Braun Strowman could swim, and everyone was like, "Hey!"
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I don't think he, I don't. I think genuinely he didn't think that that joke would get over with the crowd, and then he heard everyone laugh, and he turned around, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, he even said something about that. He's like, I
yeah,
didn't think that joke was gonna go that well. Like,
yeah." And they all started the Dino chant then, and
right,
then
right, 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 right.
from then on, it was pretty much smooth sailing for him. But yeah, you don't. I think
Definitely.
Ambrose is definitely for me one of like the top three guys. He tends to get like when I say top three guys, I mean for crowd reaction, and I mean like on the mic and in the ring as well. But for me, he's definitely the top three at the moment, and the other two, I'd probably say one of them is AJ Styles, and probably Sami Zayn is the other one. They're probably the top three most liked guys at the moment from what I've seen. But one thing I wanted to ask about Sami Zayn is, do you think that Sami Zayn would be credible as a main event or as world heavyweight champion?
Not yet. I think that I was thinking about this the other night. Excuse me. I was thinking about this the other night, thinking about just how the fans are really over for Sami Zayn right now. But I think that the whole like a lot of the things that are carrying Sami Zayn right now are El Generico.
Hmm.
That's what's carrying Sami Zayn right now because everybody knows that's who he was. He's not really done anything in the WWE um, that is, can be as, seen as an accolade, I guess. Um, he's won the NXT championship and that's it. So he needs to build a name for Sami Zayn and not be El Generico, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning that his NXT reign wasn't like it really wasn't very long.
Right. It was. I don't even think he held it. He just got it one takeover and lost it the next, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was a forgettable reign. I mean, I remember having it. I remember having it for a few weeks, but it was really short when you
Mm-hmm.
take into account the other reigns that have happened, like Balor and Bo and Neville.
Right.
Uh, even even KO when he had it, I think had it longer than Sami Zayn did.
Kevin Owens is a pretty long reigning. I know Finn Balor is now the longest reigning, but
Yeah,
Kevin Owens has got to be the second, or maybe Neville.
yeah, I think Neville would be the second one, and maybe KO would be
Kevin Owens the
third. I
third.
want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had that segment. That was a good segment. We got all those four guys again, which is always good to see. And then we went backstage to AJ Styles, who finally came face to face with Gallows and Anderson since they've debuted.
Right.
Um,
Well, actually, before we go there, we had the Y2J versus Zayn.
oh yeah, I'm skipping ahead. Yeah, we did. We had Y2J versus Zayn one on one.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know why I'm skipping past that match, but yeah, what did we think of Y2J versus Zayn?
Y2J versus Zayn, it was a rematch of what we saw on SmackDown, and I think that to be honest, the SmackDown match might have been a little bit better than what we got on Raw.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
that. Yeah.
I think that whether people chew me out for saying that or not, SmackDown is really turning around, and they've had some quality matches. We've said it on here before. Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose have had some great matches on SmackDown,
Yeah.
and Jericho versus Zayn on SmackDown last week was a great main event. It was awesome. I loved every second of it. And I don't know what we're getting this week for the main event, but either way, I think that the match we got on Raw was not as up to par as the match we got on SmackDown, but it was still a good match, definitely.
Yeah, well, I mean the timing it wouldn't have it didn't go as long because it was the main event on SmackDown. It was the opening
Right.
match on Raw. But yeah,
Hmm.
I definitely didn't think it was as good. And it's strange to think that at one time you had repeat matches on SmackDown from Raw, and now you have this repeat match from SmackDown going on to Raw, and it's kind of
Right.
reversed, which I've never known to happen really. I've never known for Raw to imitate SmackDown, but they must have thought that it was a good match and they wanted to see it again.
Right.
So yeah, that was a good. I mean, like I'd give it like a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. But
Yeah, I believe that's what I gave it, or maybe an 8. I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe I was generous, gave it an 8.
yeah, maybe just not as good as the SmackDown match. But
Hmm.
so yeah,
Then
now
we move on
yeah,
to
now we
Best of
can
Show.
move on to AJ Styles and
Yes.
soon to be Balor Club if you read the rumors. But yeah,
Right.
what do we think of the
Well, that was definitely the mark out moment of the night. Seeing them like come together and be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Because everybody knows what they've done elsewhere, not in WWE.
yeah.
So that was cool. I enjoyed that. That was cool. The promo, I think definitely Gallows has gotten a lot better on the mic
Oh yeah, it
from
was
what I
very
have seen.
yeah, is what he did. I mean, like he didn't have like a major speaking part, even though he had more lines than Anderson. But yeah, he's
Right.
definitely cleaned up a lot since he left. And I mean, like hopefully no one remembers his previous gimmick because uh,
Right.
it was
Well, even after Festus,
yeah.
um, was his gimmick with the Straight Edge Society. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
he was, I know he got a little bit of speaking parts there, and I don't remember him being that good. And when he was speaking on the mic on Raw, I was actually rather surprised that it was interesting. I was like, okay, it's believable. I was
Mm.
sitting there saying like, this guy, he really is just talking. Like he's not reading from a script.
Yeah,
Didn't so.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely improved a lot and come along since he's left the WWE
Hmm.
and been in Japan. So he's. I mean, like from what I can see, he deserves to be there. Um,
Definitely.
So yeah, the next segment we had was Enzo and Cass, and I mean, to me, I've got to say that Enzo and Cass is like every Raw or SmackDown, they have probably the best entrance.
Hmm.
This you compare that to the Usos, it's not as good. I don't want to keep comparing to the Usos, but it's not like Enzo and Cass like, and when they do like the can't teach that, I was sat there just watching it like, and I was quite into it and everything, but I find myself like doing the hand signal thing while they were doing it.
Right.
And I think they're just when they're on screen, I know some people don't quite get it, but to me, they're like New Day, where you just, when they pick up, and I think when New Day were at Hall of Fame and they were um, they were inducting the Freebirds, and like they're just so captivating. I think the New Day, and I think Enzo and Cass are very similar to that. Is that they just captivate the audience, and every arena they go to, from what I've seen, the crowd always follow along with everything that they do, basically. Uh,
I said, I don't know, I can't remember who I was telling this to. Probably just one of my buddies, but I will say this that Enzo Amore is going to rival Dwayne the Rock Johnson on the microphone.
yeah, I mean that's high
Easily.
hopes. That's high hopes. I mean, like some fans would probably definitely disagree with that. Um, I'm just gonna say that's just the Cleveland Brawler's opinion, and
Right.
he's obviously nowhere near the Rock at this point. But
Right. That's why I said is going.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in the future,
He's
he could
he's
be.
got he's got potential to rival, and plus I said rival,
Yeah,
not be better than.
yeah.
He has
We need to point these
potential.
things out. People go crazy on the comments.
Right, right. And people like to, jump the gun like you're saying and da 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 da. You said this, this, and that. No, go back and listen to it. He has the potential to rival The Rock on the microphone because he's that good. He literally can captivate the crowd. And how long have they been on the main roster?
It's only been because like they debuted Monday after WrestleMania, so it's been
Exactly.
it's 2 weeks, and
So
three shows.
there, there you go. And they've already got this much crowd behind them. Think about how long, they're probably going to have a career with WWE with, how long they're going to be around for. They're going to they're going to be good.
I think in hindsight it was a really good idea to debut them on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania because that crowd, there are usually a lot more hardcore fans. There's NXT fans in there. They all knew who Enzo and Cass were. They were able to sing along, and after that, everyone, every arena they went to, they just picked up, So
Yeah,
even
for
though
sure.
I think even though NXT is getting more mainstream, I think a lot of fans in the crowd now seem to, as opposed to like 2 3 years ago, back when I remember Neville, he had like a tag team match and Tyson Kidd and I think and a couple of others, and no one knew who they were. Like no one, most of the crowd did not watch NXT, and this was maybe like 2 years ago. And they
Right.
had a tag team match, like a high flying tag team match, and everyone was like, I've got no." They just they had like blank expressions on the faces in the crowd, and but today, you get an NXT guy debut, whether it's Apollo Crews, Enzo and Cash, Baron Corbin, and people will like a large portion of the crowd will know who they are. So to me, that shows that NXT is the audience
Growing.
is yeah growing, expanding, and a lot more people are starting to take notice of NXT. Um,
Definitely.
but yeah, we had Enzo and Cass versus the Dudley Boys, and uh, they beat the Dudley Boys, which was a really big win for them. I mean, like a lot of people say that Dudley Boys are kind of stale or whatever, but I still like watching the Dudley Boys. I still think
I love
they're
watching the Dudley boys. It's the
yeah.
Dudleys. How can you say they're stale? Come on.
Yeah, some people just say, "Oh, I don't know what's happened with the run and everything," but I still think they're really good in the ring. And Bubba Ray, like he always makes up like he's good at psychology, Bubba, and he always
He's become
shouts at him
very
and
vocal in the ring
yeah,
lately. I like it.
but
Like
it's,
he was
it's good.
going, he was going on Enzo. Saying like, "How you doing?
Yeah,
How about this? That's how you doing?" And he's coming in and hitting him, and that's cool.
can you teach
It's
that? Can you teach that?
right, exactly, and it's almost like getting Bully Ray, but
Yeah,
he's still Bubba and he's still in a tag team with Devon, so it's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. But I mean, like it
Cool.
makes it makes the matches interesting to watch. Even
Mhm.
though you know that Enzo and Cash were going over, because the Dudley
Definitely.
boys are not gonna they're not going to dominate the tag team division anymore. But I still think they're definitely fun to watch. Um, so yeah, afterwards we had Roman Reigns come out, and I was kind of waiting for that moment, just thinking, oh, what are the crowd?
Mhm.
How are they going to react to him tonight? And
Right. Right.
it was in London. Obviously, I'm from the UK, so I'm thinking like the crowd is always really good over here. And to me, the crowd, I mean, I just described it as kind of incoherent. Like I couldn't really tell either way whether like
Right.
I heard the boos, but it was very mixed, and I wasn't sure whether that was because it's taped, so they could have changed that. So I'm not 100%
Mhm.
sure. Um, and yeah, he cut, and I can't like I was thinking you cannot cut the promo again. You can't go to London and cut this same promo, and he did. And he's
Yep.
I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad. Is that
I
is that
know
is that? I mean, because like that's generating heel heat. I mean, like, is that not a heel thing to do?
it is.
And he's
It's that is definitely a heel thing.
and it's I just want like as a face, why would you go in and repeat the same line? Like what is it like 5 times now? I think.
Like, yeah, about. It seems like it's 5 million times. I'm
Yeah.
so, and he says it so stupid. Come
He pulls the
on,
faces as well.
guys. Yep.
Come on, guys. I'm Roman
I'm not
Reigns.
a, I'm not a good guy.
Why
I'm
do
not a guy.
why don't you like me?
And
Yeah.
then he made that tweet the other day saying he's like, I don't need a team, I don't need friends, and well, then I guess he doesn't need Dean Ambrose anymore. He doesn't need the Usos to watch his back anymore. So
Yeah.
it's
It's that
really one.
whole one versus all thing. Um, and yeah, so which is the next thing that happened. So Anderson and Gallows they came out and they attacked Roman Reigns. AJ Styles caught up with him back in the back, and he was like, oh, it wasn't me. It was nothing to do with me. And Roman Reigns was like, well, I don't believe you. And bring all your friends if you want.
Right.
So yeah, what do we think of that?
Um, I think that it seemed a little disjointed at points, that promo, but maybe that's just because it's Roman. And a lot of that, okay, the last little bit that he said was so scripted that I almost threw up. Um,
It's a
it
bit
was
harsh.
so, yeah, well, it's the truth though. I have to say it. Um, I can't remember what he said, but he was like something one verse all. And I was like, dude,
When he
have
said
you?
like bring all of your friends, like he's like I
Yeah,
don't care whether it's Anderson Gallows, bring all your friends. It's always
it
one
just
versus all.
didn't seem like he was being genuine. It almost looked like you could see him reading off of a cue card off like camera.
Kind of like Michael Cole reading off the script while
Exactly, like
Shane was
right in
falling
front of the
off.
camera. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, I mean, it just seems so obvious to me, Roman. How much more obvious can you get that
yeah,
you're reading from a script that this awful creative team is writing for you?
yeah. Well, we'll call that backstage segment, average. And then
Average, yeah.
we had Corbin squash match against Fandango. Ziggler was on commentary. The the ironic thing was Ziggler was on commentary and he was like, yeah, Corbin attacked me last week and he gave me the end of days outside. I've never felt anything like that before, but you can guarantee that it won't happen again after the match, and it happens again. So, so yeah, Ziggler. I'm not like he he kind of just ran in, jumped on him. Corbin got the upper hand, then end of dazed him, and then walked off. Like, is that doing anything for this feud?
No, it's not at all. Dolph Ziggler needs to get over a little bit. Like, come
Needs to
on.
do something. Like he,
He loses every match, and then they come out and they just keep burying him. So yeah, it's not believable that Dolph Ziggler can even beat him at all. So of
I
course,
mean,
why
like
is he
I,
even
I
feuding
thought
with
I
him?
thought Dean Ambrose Brock Lesnar was one-sided, even in the build-up. But like Ziggler and Corbin now,
It's
Ziggler's
yeah,
had maybe three punches in the entire feud, and,
yeah.
and Corbin has just destroyed him and then walked off like he doesn't care. So, yeah,
That almost makes me think that is Dolph Ziggler gonna go over at Payback? I don't know.
yeah. I mean, that's what
Probably
we said.
not.
That's what we said about Ambrose and Lesnar. Like, oh, well, it looks like Ambrose is getting like the holy hell kicked out of him, so he should go over at WrestleMania. But they didn't go over. So, and I
Right.
really doubt they're gonna put Ziggler over against Corbin, who's just won the Battle Royale, and he's on a he's debuted. He's on a streak. It's his first feud. It's Ziggler. There's no doubt.
It's Ziggler.
It's Ziggler. He jobs for a living, and he lives in the job center. And
Dude jobs to jobbers.
yeah, so he's gonna he's definitely gonna put Corbin over. He's gonna win. And I mean, I just think they need to make it. They need to keep us guessing a bit more. Do something. Just throw a curveball in there. Do something
Yeah,
where
please don't do this Goldberg stuff again where it's just like, yeah, well, of course he's gonna go over.
yeah, he's won 10 matches, and then the next night on Nitro he's on 176 to 0. We don't want
Like,
that.
whoa.
We don't want that for Corbin. It's just
How many did he go to a couple bars or something and like with a ref and pin him and
yeah, we're not
did
that
he
naive anymore. They were back in
right.
WCW days, back when we were
Yeah.
like 12, but not anymore.
And the internet wasn't as prevalent.
Yep. So after that we had the Miz and Maurice. They came out again to grace us with their presence, and yeah, bore us to death. So they put on Prince George on the. This was really weird because I'm thinking, okay, you've put Prince George on there, fair enough. And then they started like criticizing him, the baby, and then he's just like, oh, he looks so average, like he would be on the streets of London. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm thinking, are you trying to generate heel heat? Because people are just looking at her like, what are you talking about? Like he looks like he should just be walking around like as an average kid. Well, he is just a kid. I mean, what? And the crowd was just like, okay. And I don't think Miz really, um, they didn't understand how to generate heel heat in London, and
Uh-uh.
I think that was it? Oh, I think it was Kevin Owens possibly, and he tweeted a picture of himself with a Liverpool shirt on, which is a rival club to Manchester.
Right.
And it was like a picture of him on the turnbuckle, and it was just to kind of uh, generate heat. And I thought that was good because that really would get people.
It's always a cheap pop in London
Yeah,
is to go to the soccer
yeah, pretty much,
teams.
yeah. And they'll always boo. They'll always boo because it's sport, and it's the same.
Right.
It's only the same wherever you go in the US. You mention a rival team and everyone boos. So
Mhm. Exactly.
yeah, I don't think he did very well there as a heel. I mean, I understand that Miz, I understand he's not going to be the most exciting guy. He's trying to get boos, but I just don't think he did it well there.
Right. I
Cesaro
agree.
comes out. Cesaro kind of saves the segment for me. Comes out in his suit, and he's had his new entrance for a little bit now, which has improved his overall look, and just tweaking his character that little bit for me has given him something a bit extra. And he seems to be getting a pretty good push at the moment. For me personally, when he took the suit off and he had the New Day t-shirt on, I just thought that was like an amazing moment. I thought,
Oh,
yes.
it was awesome. I mean, I was sitting here and I posted on there. I said New Day plus Cesaro equal Dream Team. And I mean, they were the dream team of all dream teams. That was awesome. Like they came out and they were just ready to go, and like League of Nations was out there and they were ready to go, and then that was just probably one of the best matches of the night. I believe
Yeah,
in my post talking about the description of the match. Um, I said that's how tag team matches should be done.
yeah.
That was great. great.
Yeah, there's plenty of action all the way through. Cesaro again, he and the New Day and Cesaro, they seem to work well together.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would call them. A Swiss day or it's a Swiss day. Yes, it is. I don't know what you
Yeah,
call that team,
they
but
would come up with something. Oh, I can't even come up with something on the top of my head, but they would come up with probably something pretty good and be able to work something out.
the new super team, Super Swiss. No, I don't know.
Yep, super Swiss.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good match. And then we had Charlotte and Natalia backstage interview, and this is where Natalia mentions Bret Hart. So what do we think of this one?
Well, I guess it does throw a little bit of unpredictability into the mix for their match at Payback now because he's going to be at ringside with Natty.
Hmm.
Brett is, and Rick is at ringside with Charlotte. So if you go back in the wrestling annals and wrestling history books and look at typical stuff like that, that is how somebody's gonna get over. They finally even the odds, and it's it's gonna end up where Rick's gonna try and get involved, and Brett's gonna stop him. Charlotte's gonna get distracted. Natty gets her in the sharpshooter or rolls her up, whatever, and she gets the win. Um, but unfortunately, I think that they really, really, really want Sasha to be the next women's champion.
Yep,
And I
SummerSlam.
think, yeah, I think they're gonna stick to that and maybe do the same thing that I said the first part. Have Rick get involved. Bret Hart takes him out. Um, but Natty gets distracted by it and gets distracted by the crowd because it'll get a big pop when Bret Hart attacks Ric Flair. It'll get a nice
Yep.
little like cheer from the crowd, and then she gets all pumped up from that, and then Charlotte can actually, if they want to really make her look like a legitimate heel, they can have her go for the roll up and put her feet on the ropes, and then maybe kick out of that. Then she goes for the sharpshooter. She turns around and then she does like another dirty pin or a dirty move somehow.
Yeah,
Can't
and I
really
mean
do a low blow.
it's also worth mentioning that this exact match has happened before as well on NXT with Bret Hart and with Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
So it could possibly be a carbon copy of the original match,
Right.
where they take each other out and
On a bigger scale.
yeah, just on a slightly bigger scale.
Right.
I mean, I mean NXT they get a lot more time as well, so who knows? It might not even be as good as that match, but hopefully it will be. And I
Yeah.
think, in my personal opinion, I don't think Natty's got any chance of winning that match. She's got about as much chance of winning that match as AJ Styles does against Roman Reigns. That's
Ah,
that's
yeah, I'd say so.
that's my
I'd agree
opinion on
with
that
that.
one.
I'd agree with that statement.
So yeah, next we had the women's match, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the only thing I remembered about this match was the crowd singing along to Paige's song. That's the only
Yep.
thing I sort of remember. Uh,
I honest to God don't even remember who won.
no, I don't either, which is pretty bad considering we're doing a Raw review. But like the thing is with these women's matches where they're just throwing 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, it makes
It was
makes
Paige's team.
yeah Paige's team, yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I think to me, like like I don't see the point of these matches. I understood it at WrestleMania because you had Lana who'd not been in the ring much, and
Right, right.
even Marie. So they had to be in a short match just so that they didn't have much to do. But like, I don't think you should repeat that. I think it cheapens the women's division, and it also cheapens the competitors in the match because a lot of these women they can go one on one and have really great matches. So to throw them
Have
in
phenomenal matches.
yeah, I mean, to throw them into a match like this is just a waste. I think. I mean, just at least give like, but do a tag team match or something, or bring the women's tag belts back and do something with that, and just
I think that would be awesome.
yeah. I mean, just just so it has meaning, and it's not just let's throw all the women we've got in there and just see what
Well,
happens.
here's something real quick to just to kind of cut you off really quick. You said Divas Tag Team Championships for just a couple, in a short, uh, brief explanation. Who do you think would be good tag team champions or a good tag team in the division for the
Yeah,
women?
just to catch you there, I said women's tag. You said divas, So no,
Oh,
it's not
excuse me.
not the Divas, not the Divas tag team, the
Ex-
women's, because people will catch that out and be like, they're not Divas.
That's true. That's true, and I'm
Yeah,
very adamant on that. But it's like when you call something like like a arena gets the name changed, people still call it by that. So it's just hard to get out of that.
yeah. So yeah,
Call these
who would
wrong.
I choose as the tag team champions? You mean?
Correct.
Um, at the moment, I mean, like, I'd probably put Paige and Emma together, something like that.
Okay.
I mean, like, I know, like, the thing is, I want Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte to stay in that feud for the title. I think that to me, they should have, like, swapped it around a little bit. I think Becky definitely deserves it. And I think Sasha deserves it as well. So I think those three should stay in a feud. But I think the tag in a feud. I think if there was some women's tag team championships, I think you should give it to. I think Emma definitely needs something because like Emma's, she's wasting away and got this heel run. And as you said on the other podcast, that she did well with Dana Brooke, but now she's on her
Hmm.
own and she's kind of losing momentum again, and she's drifting back into obscurity. So I think she needs something to try and just make her relevant again, because
Right.
otherwise she's just going to disappear again. It'll be fail again, and then where do you go from there when she's failed twice? You can't really.
Yeah, you can't really rebuild again. People aren't gonna buy into you.
Yeah, and I mean
Um,
Paige is, whether she's being buried or not, but she has definitely fallen off the ladder.
I know.
So she's got a lot of talent that she could be showcasing, which she isn't. Um,
Definitely. I would say another good choice is Naomi and Tamina.
yeah, I mean, to me, like I'm not a huge fan of Tamina, but
I'm
sh
not either, but I am of Naomi.
yeah, I would possibly put Naomi with someone else. I mean, I'd be happy if Tamina retired, but you know,
That's
uh,
fun.
but yeah, I mean, I think Naomi's got a lot of talent, but Tamina, I don't know. But yeah, the next match after that was the Vaudevillains vs the Usos, and the Vaudevillains pretty much they beat the Usos pretty quickly, to be honest, which I was surprised at.
Yeah. Well, I'm very afraid now that they're not going to get this push that they look like they were going to get because apparently rumor has it that Vince is regretting calling them up.
Yeah, just
But
because there isn't much crowd reaction, I've noticed that they don't
but
know how to react to them.
right, but I mean you gotta keep them moving. And I've said before, I'll speak really quick on this. Two things you could do to get them over. One, give them a manager. You have them come out with like a ringmaster type character and do that little entrance thing that they do live. And I think it would be really funny if you made that ringmaster guy a midget. I think that would be really funny because it fits their sideshow gimmick. They're sort of from that old sideshow where wrestling came from.
So you're saying
You know,
give them Hornswoggle, basically.
no, not Hornswoggle, but give them somebody along the lines, maybe a different. So I don't know what El Torito's doing, um,
El Torito
but
without a mask.
yeah, definitely. But I guess it just kind of fits their gimmick a little bit. Also, second thing you do, you give them a backstage segment, kind of like Adam Rose's thing that he used to do, the Rose Bush or whatever,
Hmm.
but you don't make it as bad as that was. Um, and you call it the Gentleman's Club. You have it filmed like an old movie, like an old black and white film,
Hmm.
and they can be standing there, Aiden English and Simon Gotch, talk, 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 and then it pops up with the what they're saying because it's a silent film. You don't know what they're saying. There was no talking, and
You had the
they
cards though, didn't you? We could hold up the cards and.
right they could hold up the cards that says what they're saying, and then they could do different segments of how to be gentlemen, like towards women, or how to be proper when you're eating, or
Kind of
things
like
like that.
instructional videos.
Exactly, and I think that would really get them over. I think that's two things right there that you could do, and it would be perfect.
Yeah, because I mean, like thinking back, I don't think they've actually been. I can't remember an interview with them. Like I can't remember them being on
Nope.
the. Yeah, so they've not really spoken yet. I think that's why people don't know how to take them, possibly.
They
But
haven't done anything on Raw or SmackDown. They've done stuff on NXT,
yeah,
but
I know in NXT, but I mean like since the debut to the main roster. But yeah,
right.
as far as I know, they've not spoken yet. But yeah, we'll see where they go with that.
Mhm.
So yeah, next we had Apollo Crews. They did a video package on him, which shows that they kind of pushing him a little bit, and then he went again. It was the last match of a series of matches against the Social Outcasts,
Right.
and he was facing Heath Slater. The stipulation, if you would call it that, as if Apollo lost, if that
He
was
had to
ever going to
join.
happen, yeah, then he would have to join the Social Outcasts. JBL made it a bit better than it was. He was kind of like hyping it up and everything. So,
Mhm.
what did we think of the match?
Not bad at all. I'm very high on Apollo. I think he's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. I think he could be the first African American WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, definitely.
He he could really, really, really be that guy. I think he has the potential to be like another John Cena type guy. But for just the African American demographic.
Yeah, is he good enough on the mic though?
Um, yes and no. He shows good parts here and there, but then it kind of trails off. So I think that he needs work there. Is he World Heavyweight Championship material now? No. But is he United States Championship material? Yeah. That's what he is. I see the United States Championship in his future very soon. Very, very soon. I think that Kalisto will lose it to somebody, or maybe there'll be a multi-man match at one of the upcoming pay-per-views, and he's gonna lose it, and Apollo Crews will take it, and he can go with somebody that's better on the mic that can help him and show him how to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, he needs someone to learn from, kind of like a mentor, like Triple H, Randy Orton type of thing, or Seth Rollins, Triple H. He
Right.
needs someone who he can partner up with. Who, I mean, like, off the top of my head, I mean, I don't really want to say like Mark Henry because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it'd turn into like it'd be like it'd have to be a tag team, wouldn't it? He couldn't just be a
Mhm.
manager. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of. He can't, I mean, he couldn't really imagine if you made him a Paul Heyman guy. That'd be him and Brock.
Here's a stretch. Teddy Long.
Teddy Long. All right, bring him back. Yeah, that'd be good. That.
He
Yeah.
was a great heel manager, in my opinion. I
But
thought he was really good. He managed Jazz for a while,
yeah.
and he managed Rodney Mack, was it?
Yeah, Rodney
What?
Macker. Yeah, I remember.
Um, and that was actually Rodney Mack and Jazz are married in real life. I didn't know that, but they're married in real life. And I think Rodney Mack had a team with Chris Nowitzki, was it?
Chris Nowinski. Yeah.
Yeah, from Harvard,
Yeah, from
a
Harvard.
Harvard graduate.
I mean, like that wasn't he wasn't very standout, but
No,
uh,
no.
yeah. So yeah, we had the last thing on the card was the main event, which was Ambrose versus Kevin Owens. So what do you think of that match?
Not a bad match at all. Another. It was exactly what I expected. I went into it knowing it was going to be a good match, and what did we get? A good match. Was it great? Nah. But was it good for a main event of Raw? Yeah, it was just what it needed to be, and it was perfect. Kevin Owens had a lot of good offense in that match.
Which
He
kind
had
of
a
gave you the you kind of thought, oh well, maybe he's gonna lose this.
right, and he ended up losing,
Hmm.
and via the dirty deeds. But it gives Dean Ambrose a much needed win. But then out of nowhere, here comes Chris Jericho Codebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, and they were kind of like on the replays, and I thought, oh well, is this the end of the show? And then the replays come off, and then there's Y2J like running in the ring, and it's like, oh okay, there we are.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been I think it is a good feud for Dean Ambrose, and I think him getting a win over Y2J would be good because Y2J has come off the back of a win against AJ.
Mhm.
So he's got this momentum, and for me, Dean Ambrose would be a good person to give that momentum to. As I said with Brock Lesnar, it would have been nice if Brock Lesnar would have given him his momentum, but
I know.
you know. So I think yeah, Y2J he's beat AJ Styles. AJ Styles is probably going to lose against Roman Reigns, as we said. But if Dean Ambrose can beat Y2J, and then then you would set up a good feud because then you'd have friend versus friend. Roman turns heel. You've got Dean Ambrose just off the back of Y2J, and he's got the momentum going for him. Um, the thing is, though, like that booking would be fine if they didn't have Roman Reigns to keep that title until at least SummerSlam and possibly afterwards. So, um,
Right.
and to me, I think the only guy who would be capable of taking it off him is Seth Rollins, and as far as I know, he's still like 2 months away, or maybe like a month and a half away, something like that. And they had an article that was posted on the page not too long ago about him possibly bringing back a version of the World Heavyweight title, and
That
yeah,
was me. I actually posted that.
did
That
you?
was
Yeah,
awesome.
okay. Sometimes I don't see who posts things, but yeah, that was you.
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah, go ahead and talk about that possibility of if you think that's a good idea.
Oh, I think it would be awesome because he could come out, um, even the next night on Raw after SummerSlam. Roman Reigns beats his opponent at SummerSlam, and he comes out, and Roman Reigns cuts a promo, the opening promo, and he's talking. I beat all these people. I'm still the best. And, this, and that, and all of a sudden, did it, did it, did it, did it, did it, and the crowd goes nuts. And he comes out, he says nothing. All he does is he just walks out, top of the ramp, and holds up his championship. The crowd says it all.
Mm.
And he'll pick up the microphone finally and say, I am the rightful champion. I never lost my championship. You never pinned me. I pinned you at WrestleMania. You never pinned me. That is my belt.
Yeah,
And they're going to go into that. I think it would be great.
and I think as well, I mean, because a lot of people I think everyone in the back and the creative team know that when Seth Rollins comes back, the crowd are going to cheer for him because he's been away
Yeah.
for so long. I think
Hmm.
they should anticipate that and try and work off of it because if you know that someone's coming back as a face, I think like possibly they could tweak his music and tweak what he's wearing as well. Like he did
Right.
the white Power Ranger at one point,
Hmm.
which I'm not saying come out with that on, but if he could come out with something that doesn't look as heelish,
Right.
and I think it would get over with people a lot more.
Even, yeah, just like not the whole, even if he just did like not the top, like the shirt.
Yeah,
If he just had white pants and no shirt, that would look more babyface
yeah,
than the black.
yeah, and I think the good thing is when Seth Rollins does come back, he's going to have I mean, to be honest, I would like Seth Rollins to feud with like one or two people before he faces Roman Reigns because like I'd like to see a match with AJ Styles to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, I don't mind if he wins the title and then faces AJ Styles, but I kind of think that like with Roman Reigns facing AJ, that he's going to get too involved with Reigns and it's going to be a big long thing. But I think Seth Rollins has got to be one of the best workers in the ring, and I'd rather see him face other guys because like a lot of the time when he was working the pay-per-views, he was often the best match on the card. And you want to see him working against guys who he's going to have five-star matches with, and for me, that won't be Roman Reigns. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I completely agree. They're so they've got such great styles, Rollins and Styles. That kind of sounded funny. They've got such great styles, Rollins and Styles.
yeah, they're
Uh,
phenomenal.
yeah, but they're phenomenal. But but I think that they would put on some instant classics in the WWE.
Yeah, definitely, and that'll be a match that we'd love to see down the line.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll leave it there. The Raw for me, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was I think going off the other Raws, it was definitely a good Raw. It wasn't a bad Raw anyway. We've seen like a lot worse, and yeah, it was definitely an 8 out of 10 for me.
Agree. 8 out of 10.
Yeah. So for all you guys who were listening, drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought about it, and if you have any input on what we've spoken about, then feel free to message us or to drop a comment, and we'll respond to you right away.
Definitely.
Yeah, so see you next time. This is Weeb signing off.
Cleveland Brawlers signing off. Love you, China. Love you, Prince.
Praise come to life.